Hello, everyone. Welcome to the day webinar for Suprema BioStar 2 Access Control Beginners. I would like to introduce myself before we start today. So, my name is Hatem, and I have been working with Suprema for 2+ years now as a regional technical manager for the Middle East region. I have been in this field since 2006, so I have quite experience. I also have a couple of my colleagues who are going to support today's webinar by answering your live question in the QA box. I'm going to explain now. I have Cyril from France, Kate and Lani from Suprema HQ in Korea. I have Dwayne as well from the UK branch. Today's webinar is about basic configuration of BioStar 2 as a crash course, and it is going to take around 2.5 hours. Today's webinar, we are going to talk about understanding BioStar 2 access control licenses and some of the recommendation and precautions to be done after the BioStar 2 installation. Then we are going to explain how to activate BioStar 2 license, either online or offline, and how to add device, how to add user, how to add door, also how to create access group and access level, patch edit for user devices and doors, private authentication, custom field, device configuration, and we are going to have a quick look about understanding the zone configuration. It looks long, but actually it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's start. Today's webinar, the aim of this webinar that we are going to explore the basic configuration of BioStar 2 access control, which will highlight the typical configuration and precautions must be taken into consideration while configuration. All the information in this webinar is useful for the pre-sales and sales, as well as the technical team. However, please, if you are from the technical team, please focus and concentrate more in this webinar. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going also to demonstrate it. So it's like 2 times I'm going to repeat. So please, if you have a question, it might be answered while the subject, so you can leave it aside. If it got answered, it's okay. Otherwise, you can ask the question in the Q&A session or in the Q&A box. So let's start with understanding BioStar 2 access control license. Access control license, actually, we have 4 categories of license. Some people are confused about it, but we have 4 categories. So those 4 categories are, the first one is access control license, the second one called time attendance, third one called video, and the fourth one called visitor management. So we have 4 categories. In access control and time attendance, we have subcategories. Today we're talking about access control, so we are going to talk about access control licenses. Please don't get confused. So as you can see here now, we have 6 licenses. However, the first license, which we call starter license, this is the one which is free of charge. So this means once you install BioStar 2, you download the installation file, you start the installation, finish the installation, you're having the starter version, which is free of charge. Then if you'd like to have additional features, which I'm going to explain now, we have 5 additional licenses. BioStar 2 Access Control Basic, BioStar 2 Access Control Standard, BioStar 2 Access Control Advanced, Professional, and Enterprise. What are the major differences between those licenses? So the first major difference is the total number of doors, and please be careful with the doors. A lot of the common questions which comes is, what if the door has 2 readers, reader in and reader out? So reader in and reader out it is counted in BioStar 2 as 1 door. So in the free version, the starter, it is 5 doors. Either it is 5 readers or 10 readers. Please don't get confused. We're talking here about doors, not readers. So if you have more than 5 doors, you need to upgrade your license. You need to purchase and upgrade from starter to basic, and it will allow you to add up to 20 doors. Standard is up to 50. Advanced 100, professional 300, enterprise is 1,000 doors. The second major difference is the elevator module. The elevator module starts from the advanced. So if you have elevators and would like to use the elevator modules with BioStar 2, please make sure that you buy the advanced license. Next one is the zones. So if you would like to use BioStar 2 zones, please make sure that you have the standard license or higher. Then we have a monitoring. In the monitoring, we have something called graphic map. Graphic map, which will allow you to have the site layout with the doors, and you can distribute the doors, and you can see the live status of the doors and control them as well. Please note that this starts from the advanced. More additional features at the standard license, which is server matching, Active Directory, visitor, cloud, and if you want to use our old or former local API. All those are available from standard. I'm sorry, I have a small mistake here. The server matching Active Directory are from the advanced. I will correct this in the slide before publishing it. I have a small precaution here, which I would like to highlight for you, that please, when you are the sales and the pre-sales, please make sure that you say BioStar 2 access control license before you say it is a standard or advanced or professional. Why is that? Because standard, advanced, and professional are also in BioStar 2 time attendance. So sometimes we receive query, we need BioStar 2 advanced, and we send access control, but it was time attendance. So please don't get confused. Let's move forward and reach to after BioStar 2 installation. So after successful installation of BioStar 2, already my colleague Cyril had a webinar about installing BioStar 2 on MariaDB or MSSQL, and the link will be there. It's already available. However, once you receive this presentation, you will see you will receive this link to click and do it. And I recommend the below steps. Number one is installing the HTTPS certificate. Number two is to change the logs, especially if you are using MSSQL installation, and add a maintenance user as admin. Why is that? Let's go one by one. Installing HTTPS certificate is after you install BioStar 2 and you put the IP address colon the port, you will see that your connection is not private. And if you have an antivirus, you will see this, that, for example, the Kaspersky is showing that this is unsafe, unsafe website. So accordingly, please be aware of the restriction of some antiviruses, because it might block and will not give you the option to proceed further. So you click proceed further, proceed to the website, or if you have allowed the Kaspersky to show you to understand the risk and proceed, you can click on it, and accordingly you will reach to the login page. From the login page, you will see that under the login fields, download the HTTPS certificate. So please download it, unzip it, and double click on the cert register. You please make sure that you put the IP address of the server, colon 443, and enroll the certificate. After you click enroll, please make sure that the IP address which will show in the security warning pop-up message, that it is exactly the same IP address you use in the installation. If it's not, this means the certificate will be failed. Then you click yes, then you click OK, and please make sure that all Chrome pages are closed. Some of the common and frequent questions which or troubleshooting which has been raised by customer, or even sometimes few of the partner and SIs, that the certificate does not work. This is because there was some of the Chrome pages was remain open. So please make sure to kill all the Chrome. Then finally, if you open BioStar 2 either by putting the IP address colon the port or the shortcut, you will have BioStar 2 login page with secure connection. Now, changing the logs. Once you install BioStar 2 on MSSQL, system log is important for lots of things, but the most is the troubleshooting. So you need to go to the settings, server, and you will see at the bottom the logs. You will see that the debug, SQL, and WebSocket are not used. we recommend to put it in the lower log level, which is error. Please note that those log files are stored inside the installation folder on the application server. Change them to error and keep it like that. Adding a maintenance user as an admin. So adding a maintenance user is mainly recommended in case of admin user forget password. Resetting the password of BioStar 2 admin will require a remote session by one of our technical team support for security reasons. So please make sure to add at least one user by naming it a maintenance or the SI company and give it a username and password, and this will be easy to retain the administrator password later on. Now let's go, after understanding the license and after the installation, how to activate BioStar 2 license. So BioStar 2 online license key consists of 16 numbers, which is in the form of 4 digits, hash, hyphen, or minus, again 4 digits, dash or hyphen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4. So it is 16 digit. Every 4 has a hyphen in between. You can activate BioStar 2 license either by online, which require an internet connection, or you can have it offline, which if the server of the application server at the customer does not have the internet. So both options are available. So for activating the online license, please know that you must enter the same format. Please be careful about that. I have seen a couple of tickets which either he forgot to put the hyphen in between the 4 digits, or he forgot to put one number. Actually, it was 15 digits. So please be careful with that. So in order to do that, please go to Setting, Server, and go to the license part. When you go to the license part, again, I'm emphasizing, please do not forget the 16 digit. After you put the name of the customer, you put the 16 digit and click Activate. Everything should work fine. If for an unknown reason it didn't work, the link here for troubleshooting activating the online license. So please review it. If it didn't work with you, please open the ticket and we will be more than happy to support you. So how about the offline license? What's the process of offline license? As you can see, the online license is very easy. Just put the name, put the 16-digit key and activate it, and that's it with internet connection. So if the customer, which most of the government entities, they don't have internet, or they don't allow the internet actually on their servers, so we need to activate the offline license. So the same sequence, you will go to the license part from Setting, Server, License, and then you will see Request Offline Key. Once you click on Request Offline Key, a pop-up window will come. So please put the name of the customer and put the key which you have purchased, the 16-digit key which you have purchased. After that, you click Download. And after clicking Download, you will receive a file, download a file called Request File. Please send it to your Suprema sales representative, and in return, you will receive a file with the same customer name .lic. So this is the file which you need to save it in your hard drive, for example, the desktop. And after that, you will go back to the same Setting, Server, License section, and you go here to the offline activation line and click on Activate. So once you click on Activate, a pop-up browser will open in order to locate your received file from Suprema sales representative. Choose the file, click Open, and it will activate. So those are the 4 steps in order to activate the offline license. So demonstration, I'm going to demonstrate now for the previous steps, which is the license and the after installation and activate the license. So in order to do that, let me open my BioStar 2. Already it is secured. So here is the link where it will be downloaded. You click here, the file will be downloaded, double click and proceed with the same steps. Very simple, very straightforward and easy. Once you log in, So once you log in here, you will go to setting, server, scroll down, and you will see the logs. Not use, make it error, not use, make it error, not use, make it error. So we have done the HTTPS certificate and we have modified the logs. Then we will go to the user. You will add a user, you name it maintenance, for example, and choose an operator level. So for example, administrator, give it main, for example, and choose whatever password you want and save it. This is how to add the user. Then for the license, you will go to setting, server, scroll a little bit down, and here is the license. So for example, to activate the online license, I will name this Hatem, for example, and let me get my key. Sorry for the late. I have a couple of windows are open. And I'm going to put my key, activate. So now what's going on? Your server through the internet connection is reaching our license server in order to verify this key and accordingly will be activated. The license which I have activated now, it is just a 90 days license and it's going to expire. Of course, the license which you purchase, it is one-time purchase license. You don't need to pay anything extra except if you are going to upgrade. Now, let's try to upgrade the time attendance license offline. So you need to request offline. You put the name, you put the key, you click download, the file will be downloaded, send that file to us, then you will receive the file.lic, you click activate, it will open. This is the license which I have received from the sales. I click open and that's it. Find the license and there it is. This is a permanent license, professional. So you can ask a demo license or at the customer, you can apply the permanent license. So this is the easy steps for having the license being activated. So any questions? Very good. So before we proceed to the next one, let me ask you a couple of questions. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to launch a poll. Now you can see now the poll in front of you. It has 3 questions. If you don't mind, please answer them. I'll give you like 1 minute or 2 minutes. So I do believe that everyone has, by the way, this polls are anonymous. I have a couple of polls during our webinar. At the end of the webinar, also please, before you before you end the webinar, make sure that you help us by the 2 polls we are going to be really, I'm going to launch. We need your opinions about the webinar. It is anonymous. We don't know you and what options has you choose. So please feel free to have your pure and honor answer to all the questions. Currently, it is we have 156 attendees, 105 only has answered. However, I'm going to end up now. So the result is how many doors you can add with BioStar 2 starter version. It is 5, actually correct. Do I require dongle to activate BioStar 2 license? For those who said yes, that was in BioStar 2.1, sorry, BioStar 1. Yeah, BioStar 1 was using dongle. However, we have upgraded this recently for BioStar 1 as well. It's now having key, software key, but that's in BioStar 2, there is no dongle at all. And my customer does not have internet on his application server. Can I still activate the access control license? We have a couple of users which said no. Please know that yes, we do have the option of offline, which we have done here in the offline time attendance activate license. So let's move forward. Now let's talk about adding the device. Allow me, again, if you don't mind, to share with you another poll. This poll will help me or guide me how to explain the coming point, which is adding the device. If you don't mind, please answer the poll which is in front of you. It has, again, 3 quick questions. And during that, if anyone has questions, still we can answer them. So Billy Ray, he is having a question referring to server port of 512.12. What other server port can be used to run both BioStar 1 and BioStar 2? Please note that we do not recommend to have BioStar 1 and BioStar 2 installed on the same server. And it is highly recommended to have separate servers for each one of them. So accordingly, you will never have any port conflict and you will have no problem. And the generation 1 of devices will be continued to work with BioStar 1. Generation 2 devices will continue to work with BioStar 2. One more minute for the poll. Please feel free to answer. It is anonymous. Don't be worried. This webinar is educated webinar. It is not a final exam. So please please answer wrong. No harm. There is no penalty. No one is failing here. We are here all together to learn together. So please answer what you feel it is the correct. So 2 minutes has been passed. I'm going to end up now the poll and discuss the results. So this is the result. So do you know what is the server to device connection mode? I can see that around 45% they might know or they don't know. So around 45% of our attendees today would like to understand this clearly. Do you know what is device to server connection? It is 26%. And our slave devices connected to TCP/IP. We have around 37 yes and 15 maybe. The correct answer for our slave devices connected to TCP/IP is no. So we have around 52% are not understanding what is a slave. So let's go and check. So adding device to the server is very easy. In order to do that, we need to understand 3 methods of connection. Server to device, which is the default connection of each device you have purchased from Suprema. Device to server, which I will explain now, and slave devices, which we call it master-slave connection. So let's start talking by slave to a server to device, which is the default. In this mode, the application is going to search the LAN. So if you go to the device tab, click search, BioStar 2 is going to search the LAN and accordingly will find all the Suprema devices. This is what we call server to device. So we have a couple of devices like BioEntry W2, BioEntry +2 and the core stations, which they are without screens, because the devices with the screens, easy to adjust the IP address and find them, but those devices need to be found by the server. So let's start with the first precaution about finding the device. BioStar 2 server will search the LAN only, no WAN. So it is only in the local area of your network. Make sure that BioStar 2 server has only one active network card with one IP address at the time of search. So please make sure that you disable the Wi-Fi until the search is completed. Why? Because sometimes the server setting, you will see that it is assigned to any. So it is going to check which network available in your server and start using it to search. So please make sure to guide BioStar 2 to find the devices in your LAN by having one IP address with one static IP, as well as go to the server and make sure that you are assigning the IP address which you have used for BioStar 2. So there is another option also, searching device. Let's assume for some reason your network have some policies which is not allowing the broadcast or something, and you know the IP address of your devices. So there is something called advanced search, which once you click on advanced search, you enter the device IP and click search. So this is how to add the devices in the first way, which is the default, which we call it server to device. Server is going to search for the devices. Now, if we go to the second one, which is device to server. In order to do that, so let's assume, to allow me to make it simple for you so you can understand it, let's assume that you have BioStar 2 server in Dubai, and one of the devices in Seoul, in Korea, and another device in Cairo. So you will have your network. This network, there is no restriction from Suprema side. So we don't say you must use that. You can have a VPN, DNS, baseline, satellite, 3G, 4G, 5G. All what is important that the devices can reach to the server. So we're having our database in Dubai in our example. Let's assume we have a Face Station 2 in Seoul, and we have a Face Light in Cairo. So in this case, if you start to do search from Dubai for the devices in the first option, which we have tried a while ago, which is server to device, it will not work, because when you search there, if you remember the precaution, the search will be done only in the LAN. It's not going to be broadcast to search all over the world, which makes sense, of course. So accordingly, we must use the second option, which we call device to server, which means that the device is going to search for the server and reach to it and add it to waiting devices on BioStar 2. So in other meaning, that you will put this server IP inside the device, and the device is going to seek finding the server here. So in the device, if the device has a screen, like those devices, for example, you can access the menu accordingly and put the server IP like this. So this is the menu of the Face Station 2. You go to this device to server, enable it, and put the server IP. My server IP here today is 192.168.1.10. But what if the device doesn't have the screen? Then what should we do? Let's see how. So when you search the devices in your Dubai office, or you install BioStar 2 in local in Seoul or Cairo in a local PC, because the server we agreed it is in Dubai. Please remember the setup. So the server in Dubai, a device in Seoul, a device in Cairo. If the devices has the screen, we have no issues. What if the devices doesn't have a screen? So in Seoul, we can prepare one laptop with the device, connect the device, and do the search and find the device, checkbox, set IP, then this window will pop up and you will see the option of device to server. Please check the box, put the server IP, and click apply. Then reconnect this device from your local server in Seoul to the network, which is to reach Dubai. So the most important precaution here, that the network setup and configuration from Seoul and Cairo to reach Dubai server will be done by the customer network administrator or the network provider to the customer. So again, as I said, it is all up to the customer which way of connectivity is going to use. After that, the device, you need to wait. Now, what after you have done this and connect the device to the network, the device is going to seek as per your network routing, trunking, whatever you have done to the network for that device IP address to reach to the server in Dubai, it's going to be in the waiting list. After that, please right-click on the device, and when you right-click, add waiting device will appear. Click on it, and the device will be added already to BioStar 2. And you can see here that more devices are going to show up. So every device you are going to put device to server, you put the server IP into the device. Those devices are going to swim through the network until it reaches the server. And once it's reached the server, it is going to appear under the waiting list. So this is how to add the devices to BioStar 2 in the second option of device to server. Let's now talk about slave devices. So slave devices are set to send the data only, either finger, card, or face, to the master device, which means slave devices, you can name them as dummy devices. So the purpose of it is to get your biometric or your card details and just send it to the master device. This is what is slave device means in Suprema language. So can we add slave device directly to a master device? Is there any steps we must do before adding slave device? What do you think? Shall we just connect the device RS-485 to another device and that's it? Or do we have to do something? Let's see. So assuming you have a BioEntry W2 and you are going to connect a slave device, in my example here, the slave device is SIO2. SIO2 is one of our peripherals devices. You can have W2, you can have P2, you can have any other device as a slave. It is the same connection. So you are going to connect the master device with the slave device through RS-485. You will open BioStar 2, you will go to the W2, and you will put right click, and you will see there is nothing called add or search slave device. So there is something we need to do, which is we need to go inside W2. We need to convert the serial from default to master. We need to inform the device that now you are acting as a master and there is a slave devices might be connected to you. Now, if you go to the same device, right click, and now you will see search slave device is there. So it's very simple. Make the device master, which you have connected some devices as RS-485 or slave devices to it, and then search slave devices is there. Let me quickly demonstrate that to you. So devices, those are all the devices currently connected. I'm gonna boom, delete, or before delete them, this is the master device. I'm gonna change it to default as one of them, which is the W2, because it has slave. So we need to delete the slave device. Yes. Thank you very much. Now let's put it at default in order to demonstrate it. Default, apply. Now I'm gonna delete all my devices. Now search device, it's going to search in the LAN, find all the devices. You can add all of them. You can choose some of them. You can go for a couple of devices like BioStation 2 and set up and make it device to server connection. Change the IP address, put it DHCP. So I will make this BioStation 2 as device to server, and I will just add all of them now. Now 9 devices has been added. All of them are there. They are synced with BioStar 2. There they are. Now I have a device called BioEntry P2, R2, sorry. Yeah, it's R2 connected to W2. So if I go to W2 and I click right click, I don't see any search slave devices. So as we have said, we need to go inside the device, make sure it is master device, apply. Now, if we search the W2, now you see search slave devices. Now let's search the slave devices. If more than one device is connected, you will see all of them. All our RS-485 ports and all our devices are supporting to go for up to 31 devices, but we do not recommend more than 8 biometric slave devices. Then we add, and here we go. Now the slave device has been R2, has been under the W2. Core station also is a master device by default. So right click, search slave devices. I have R2, XPath D2, and I have as well HID reader under this core station, as well as DM20. So there they are. So I have the 3 RS-485 devices, the DM20, XPath D2, and R2. Here we go, add. And the HID is added as a vegan device under the DM20. This is my connection. So please never forget your configuration and connection, wiring connection at the site. So we go to the DM20, add vegan device. Actually, it is connected to port 0. So I will add it. And here I have now, sorry, that's my mistake. Delete device. So this is my HID reader. I have also another master device, which is, as I remember, the BioStation A2. BioStation A2, I have added a secure IO, one of the peripherals, and you will see here now secure IO2 as a slave. Add, I have my system back. And do you remember that we have changed one of the devices to device to server? Now, okay, sorry for that. BioStation 2, now it appears here in the waiting devices. So how to add the waiting devices, which is the second method of adding devices, which is device to server. We right click, add waiting device. There it is. So do you have any question? One of the things also, sorry for that, that in the server, please make sure that you choose, because I have the Wi-Fi, which is the internet, and I have here my LAN. So please make sure to keep it there. And please be note, once you click apply, after changing this from any to your IP server, the services is going to restart. So it will take around 30 seconds or something till the services are up and running again. So I can see a couple of questions. I don't know if you would like us to continue or to have a 5 or 10 minutes break. Please leave your answer on the chat. I will review it. And at the same time, I'm going to answer the questions in the Q&A. So if you have any question, Q&A, or please raise your hand if you'd like to talk. And please advise if you'd like to have 5-10 minutes break, or we shall continue. So, Douglas Boone. So, one of our attendees, his name is Douglas Boone. Hi, Douglas. His question is, can we sort which is master and which is slave, or do we have to click individually to find out? So I would like always to answer live. So if you can see here, if you click on the IP address, it will be by IP address. And I do believe the slaves is going to be there. Also here, device type. It can be sorted by device type. It can be sorted by device status, by name, or even by ID, but not by the master and slave. What kind of HID readers support the BioStar tool? Okay, Benjamin is asking a question about what kind of HID readers support the BioStar tool. This is a common question, so let us have it now to clear it for everyone. When we are talking about biometric devices, we have models of biometric devices which can read the HID either box or iClass, including CS. So this is in biometric. But when we come to the card readers, our card readers cannot read HID cards because HID already a manufacturer of card readers. So our agreement with HID that we read only the normal technologies, but not the HID when it comes to RFID card readers. But because HID does not manufacture biometric, so we have the agreement with HID that we can implement their module in our biometric devices, which will allow us to read them. Hopefully this answers your question, Benjamin. So I shall continue because we might run out of time. So before adding the user, again, if you allow me, I would like to share one poll with you. I would like to have your answer on just simple 2 questions. Please answer them. Your answer will guide me how to introduce those or explain the differences. Please go ahead. Let me know your real knowledge about these 2 questions. Mr. Tangav Yen has a question. Can you recommend when we use device to slave and when we use slave to device? I do believe you mean device to server and server to device. As a quickly recapping for what I have said, we have 3 ways of adding the devices. The first one is the default, which is server to device. So the server is going to search for the devices, but this has some limitation because of the LAN. Then the second way is device to server, where this device is going to find the server because they are not on the same LAN. And the third one is the slave. And why do we need the slave devices? One of the reasons is coming when we go to outdoors. Please wait there and I will explain one of the cases of adding the slave to devices. So I'm going to end the poll now. So as you can see that the first question, do you know what is one-to-N mode, one-to-one mode, and the difference between them? So 51, they know, that's very good, but the other 49 either know or it is confusing to them, so we will clarify it in a little bit details. Are you familiar with FAR and FRR? I can see that only 23% knows of the voting, so I do believe we need to explain in more details about the FAR and FRR. So if we proceed, so before we start adding users, we need to understand the difference between one-to-N mode and one-to-one, as well as FAR and FRR. So if we start with one-to-N mode, some regions or some clients, they call it one-to-many. So one-to-N is equivalent to one-to-many. Both are the same terminology. So what does it mean one-to-N? So let's say that you have a face station device and you just go to the device without touching it and you just show your face to the device. So what's happening? The device is actually with the cameras and the algorithm is capturing your face and taking your template. After the device takes your template, it is going to do a matching with every single template on the device. So it is taking your template, compare it with and match it with all the templates stored in the device. If we call this 1 and this N, this is what we call 1-to-N. Your live template, which the device has taken, against all the stored templates. And then it will show the result was successful, and this result will be less than 1 second. Okay. How do we know if the device is 1-to-N mode? So as simple as if you go for the face devices, you will see the authentication as face only, and for the finger devices will be is finger only. So this is how the setting of the device, where the device will understand that it is 1-to-N mode. Whenever the face only there or the finger only there, this means 1-to-N mode. Even if you have another modes of authentications, the device will act as 1-to-N mode. So this is 1-to-N or 1-to-many. Now let's move to 1-to-one mode. So what do you think? It is similar thing, but however, before you go show your face, you need to identify yourself by either a mobile card or an access card, or you have to put your ID. After you do that, the device is going to ask you to show your face to take the live template. So first step, you identify yourself by one of those methods, either the mobile card or access card or ID. The device will ask to show your face. While the device is asking you to show your face, actually the stored template on the device, he's going to extract your face and make it ready. Why or how he knows you? Because you identified yourself using the mobile card or access card or ID. So accordingly, in the background, while the device is asking you to show your face, at the back end, the device is searching all the stored templates and getting your template which match with your ID or access card or mobile card. Then the device took already your live template. So he has your live template compared with the stored template. And this is where it comes the name of one-to-one. So in a quickly, so you identify yourself by one of those method, mobile card or access card or ID. The device in the background is going to search for within all the templates stored on it for your template. At the same time, it is asking you to put your face, and then your live template will be there to do the matching. And please don't forget that this is still under 1 second after you show your face. How do we configure this? So in the face device, we can put card plus face or ID plus face. In the finger, card plus finger or ID plus finger. If you have also face only is there, the device will act as 1 to n. Having this, including the face, does not mean the device will act 1 to 1. It is 1 to n, as we agreed. If the face only there, one of the option, it is 1 to n. Please do not forget this. Now, let's move forward. FAR. Big question for a lot of people today. So what is FAR? First of all, let's understand what FAR means. FAR means false acceptance ratio. So in order to understand this terminology, let's assume that Kate and Hatem fingers are enrolled on a device. So Kate went to the device, she put her finger on the device. Then the device result was Hatem, despite the fact Kate put her finger, but the device shows the result as Hatem. Now, can I ask you a question, please? Why? What do you think this reason is? Can I have your answer on this poll? This is the last poll for our webinar. As a question, the final 2 polls will be at the end of the webinar for the webinar itself. So please go ahead and answer why Kate put her finger. The device shows the result as Hatem, not Kate. Please let me know your answer, your real answer, your honor answer. At the same time, I have here 2 questions. Let me try to answer them. One of the questions, so if I connect BioEntry Plus, BioEntry W to my BioStar 2 server directly, which the computer, the search will show the device IP. Yes. You didn't mention your name. I don't know who you are. You are an anonymous attendee for me. So yes, it's going to show it. If you don't have DHCP server, it is going to show the factory IP, which is 169.254.x.y. If you have a DHCP server, then the device will take the IP and it will be shown with their IP. Philip, if now COVID-19, can the device still can compare previous image? I don't understand this question actually, so I'm going to leave it for one of my colleagues to answer you, or please have it in more details. The same, I think, anonymous attendee is there any chance it will not show at all? Yes, there is a chance that it will not show at all if the broadcast on your network is not enabled, if the server has a couple of network like wireless, additional network, and you did not follow the precautions in the webinar today, that you please make sure that there is only one IP and the network, or as simple as you can directly connect that device to your PC, to your laptop. The devices can be connected directly to your laptop and searched, and you will find it and add it, then connect it back to your network. There is always a way to connect the device to the servers. Don't worry about that. So back to our poll and continue our webinar. I'm going to end the poll and see the results. So the results here, why did the FAR happen? Sensor is malfunctioning, algorithm didn't work, poor or wrong enrollment, I don't know. So the real answer is exactly, it is poor enrollment. I will explain why now. However, sensor is malfunctioning. It is not going to take your template, or you need first to check the enrollment. After checking the enrollment and do what we are going to do in the webinar now, then you can say that the sensor is malfunctioning. But we cannot say the sensor is malfunctioning because just one person, Kate, put her finger and the result was Hatem. Algorithm didn't work. It might be, but again, we need to confirm that it is by having more cases, or we do what we are going to explain now. So the real reason for that is that this is how Kate template stored on the device, and this is how Hatem template stored on the device. And if you can little bit see, they are almost same. So when Kate put her finger, the device start to take the template, and it's almost similar to Hatem, so it shows Hatem result. It's based on the matching and stored template in the device. So this can be happen. So in order to solve this, what is the solution? Simply, we need to re-enroll both users. Why? Because this is Kate template at the moment. This is how it looks like. And this is Hatem template, where they are almost similar. But after the enrollment, re-enrollment, Kate template become a real template, and Hatem template become a real template. You can see the differences. It is massive differences between both of them. Those looks the same. It is like you are having two colleagues in your company and both of them name Hatem. So when you say Hatem, both of them will look. But who will answer is the first one. The same concept the device will do. So one of them has to change his name. So this is where is the unique, because the fingerprint is unique per person. This is what is FAR, false acceptance ratio. The person template is on the device, but it shows someone else. Now, let's go to FRR. Again, terminology of FRR is false rejection ratio. What does that mean? So we will assume that Kate finger is enrolled and stored in the device memory. So Kate put her finger on the device, but the result is access denied. Why? We are sure that Kate finger template is enrolled and in the device, but whenever she put her finger, shows access denied. This is what we call false rejection ratio. False rejection, the template is there, but still the device is rejecting her finger despite the fact it is there. Reason is very, very, very simple, that this is the Kate template stored on the device, which is a poor enrollment. And this is the template which the device is taking when she puts her finger on the device. So of course they don't match. That's why the result comes as denied. The stored template is very poor, and the real life template when she puts her finger is not matching. That's why. So proper enrollment instruction for finger. Please make sure that you put your core in the middle of the sensor. Please make sure that your finger in this, like from the top view and the side view, you can see your core is in the center. Please make sure that you don't put it on the tip of the sensor or any side of the sensor or in this position. All this will lead to a wrong enrollment. The core of the finger will be in the middle here. I will explain in the live demonstration, and I will leave for you also a finger enrollment guidance from our portal, which have videos and instructions for all of this. Now, for the face, please note that we have two modes of enrollment for the face. One is normal mode, which takes around 21 seconds. This mode has 3 stages. Each stage takes around 7 seconds. The second one is quick enrollment, which takes 7 seconds only. To understand the differences, so the first mode, you show the normal one, you show your face for 7 seconds as steady face. Then the second 7 seconds, you are going to move your face a little bit slowly up and down for another 7 seconds. Again, you are going to move your face a little bit right and left for another 7 seconds. This is actually the best practice because the face is going to take a lot of biometric from your face, and accordingly, it will be more secure and better for usage. For the quick enrollment, you just show your face up and down, very slowly movement up and down to show your face. And accordingly, the device is going to have your template. Now, let's demonstrate the user enrollment. So for example, I have Kate here, for example, so you will put the name, you can have the email. If you allow me, please just hold a minute. So when you add a new user, you click add user and this will appear. You can, as simple as put the name, email, telephone, ID. If you have user group, you can add it to the user group, the status, active, inactive, the period of the active profile for it. You can give operator level to access BioStar 2. You can give access group. We will have this once we start going to access group and create them. When you give operator level, you need to give username and password in order to access with this privilege. And you have user IP, which user IP, one of the security feature added to BioStar 2, that this user can only access as T operator with this login ID and this password only from the laptop or server or PC which has this IP. This is the meaning of user IP. Then when we go to the credential, we can add a PIN and confirm it. This is how to add a PIN. And here is where to add the finger. So please make sure that when you go to add finger, plus finger, choose the device. So I'm going to choose the A2, for example. Please, please, please do not forget to view image. View image is one of the most and important thing to do. After that, you will go add finger and start scan. Before we do scan, you have to understand that we are taking 2 templates. I have seen a couple of tickets that they don't know how to enroll users. Why? Because he put his finger once and that's it, and the timeout comes out. So please make sure that you will put your finger twice. So scan, I show my finger, then again, and the score shows here. Now, the core which we were talking about, if you can see that this is my core, where the finger, it's like hurricane, you know, this hurricane, and you will see they are almost gathering in one point. Try always, please, to make sure that this core comes somehow in the middle, and this core has a lot of points. If you see here in the second template, my core here has a lot of points. This is a proper enrollment, and this is how you make sure to do a proper enrollment. You can scan more fingers by clicking add, scan. I'm putting the second finger first time, then second time, and there you are. Completely 2 different fingers. The core here is this way, is this location, as you can see here again, and there it is. So this is the proper enrollment. What we have seen in the webinar with very minimal points, blue points there, this is a very poor enrollment. Please make sure do not reduce below 80% of the quality, and make sure that you have a lot of points and you can see the core, and that area of the core has a lot of points here. You can still delete it. You can still validate. Validate, I think this finger exists. So this is another finger. When I click validate, that's not there. Validation is for duplicate finger. So validate is to show if this finger belongs to someone else. And duress is for duress, for the emergency, that it will show the normal operation of the system, but it will send a pop-up in the operation room that that guy is under the danger. Then I will delete the third one, yes, and enroll. Now we have Kate with the two fingers. Apply, and you will see now that Kate has two finger enrolled. Now, if I go to Hatem to show you the validate, he has no finger, plus view image, add finger, scan. I'm scanning one of Kate's finger, and validate. The first finger, which you are trying to enroll at the moment, exists for Kate, which is ID number 3. Please scan another. So this is how to validate, or what validate do. Cancel, cancel. So for adding a user, where we are now, we finished the demonstration. Do you have any question? Shall we take 5 or 10 minutes break? Please leave your answer on the chat, or shall we continue? Qasim, the webinar was scheduled to be on 12 o'clock, so now we are almost halfway, less than halfway actually. The webinar is 2.5 hours. It might be 3 hours. So now 1 hour has been passed. We are exactly almost in the middle. As you can see in the presentation, we are at the 6th point here, which is add user. We just finished it. We are going to move forward by adding door, access group, batch edit, private authentication, custom field, device menu, and zones in the coming 1.5 hours. So we are going to give a 10 minutes break in order to have break, and maybe some people to do something, to check something or pray, and we will be back after 10 minutes in your time. So in my time, it is 1:08. So 1 o'clock, 18 minutes, we will be back. During this, for the questions, I will answer the question. Please be note, we will continue the webinar at 1 o'clock, 18 minutes. During this break, I'm going to answer the questions, and I'm going to remain online. How duress is, okay. Mr. Philip Chan, how duress is used after select duress. Okay. In order to demonstrate that, so I will go to Hatem. I'm going to add a finger for him. So view, I'm going to use the BioStation A2. Yes. Add finger, scan. 90%, 98%. And I'm going to use, I need to scan another finger. So I will scan another finger. Sorry. Oh my God. Still? I have problem in my finger template, by the way. Sorry for that. I got it. So this is my second finger, which is duress. So enroll, apply. Okay, we go to monitoring, real time. So assume I'm answering the duress, how it works for Philip. Assuming I'm a worker in a bank, I'm responsible for the vault, and for some reason an attack has been happened, and I have a gun on my head, and I have been requested to open the vault. So I know that one of my fingers are duress. So in the normal operation, without the attack, I'm going to put my normal finger, and the result will come as okay, and the vault will open, normal operation is going on. But if I have an attack and a gun is on my head and I need to open the vault, I need to use my Durex finger. And using the Durex finger, I'm sorry for that, my fault. There it is. So in front of the attacker, I'm going to use the Durex finger. This Durex finger is going to act normally. The green logo on the monitor of the device, the vault is going to open, but we will receive an alarm which is Durex. This is the purpose of the Durex. Hopefully this answers your question, Philip. Benjamin is asking, would you have logs to indicate whatever you are doing? If you go to setting, you will see that we have here something called audit trail. Inside audit trail, everything has been done on the system, including the IP of the users who are logged in. It's registered under audit trail, under setting. There it is. Douglas, he has a question. Douglas Boone, he's saying, having a question saying, is the slave connection maximum 8 biometric reader? The RS485 is loop in a chain. So you have two questions here actually. Is the slave connection maximum 8 biometric reader? From technical point of view, no. You can have up to 31 devices on this daisy chain loop. But we say we do not recommend more than 8 because the template is going to transfer through the RS485 to the master device. We understood that slave device means dummy. It doesn't take any action. You just receive the template, send it to the master device. So sending it to the master device through the RS485 cable to the master device is, sorry, is going to take a long time. So it is affecting the performance. However, it is going to work. But we don't recommend that because it is not good that you put your finger and wait for 2-3 seconds to get the result from the master device. That's why we do not recommend more than 8 biometric device, and the balance can be card readers. Why balance can be card reader? Because the card reader devices will read only the card, and the card is very, 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 very small in size, can be transferred very fast on RS485. And regarding the RS485 is loop in chain, yes, it is in daisy chain protocol. RS485 is a protocol which is being used by everyone. It's not Suprema. It's one of the, like TCP/IP, RS232, RS422. This is one of the protocols which we are using in our connection. Carl Motor, we have balanced 2 minutes, so I will try to answer this question. When enrolling on a device, why can the device not show the quality score of a finger enrollment like it does in BioStar 2 software? I'm aware that other manufacturers do this. I think it would really help to ensure good quality templates are taken. Yes, I do agree with you. What I assure you now that your concern has been taken into our consideration, and you are going to receive an update about it, or we are going to announce that soon as well. It requires some firmware development. My colleague in HQ need to check our R&D to-do list, and they are going to update you or us about this feature. I can see that there is a couple of questions which are or might not be related to our webinar at the moment. So I highly advise you, if you don't mind, to take my advice, to let's concentrate on our today's webinar agenda. And at the end of the webinar, I'm not gonna close the webinar until all your answers, all your questions has been answered, even if it's out of the webinar. So please, let's concentrate on today's webinar. Let's receive the aim of the and the goal of the webinars today. Let's have the questions, which all of us are going to benefit of it from today's webinar. So, and at the end, I'm gonna answer, and my colleague will answer all your questions. So hopefully everyone is back. And let's continue because we have a couple of excited subject here. Now, how to add doors. So usually in the doors setup, we have two setup of doors, either the door which has one reader in and push to exit out, and another setup which has one reader for in, another reader for out. We are going to explain both of them. And now in the first case is adding a door with one reader in. So usually you have the door, you have the device for in, you have the lock, you have the door contact, and you have push to exit. This is the setup with one reader in. So you are going to connect the relay to the lock. In this case, this is how the connection for the fail safe. You know that there is a fail safe and fail secure, or fail lock, fail unlock. Both are the same meanings. So this is for the fail safe or fail unlock. So you do this connection and connect it to the lock. Then you will connect the push button to input 0. You will connect the door contact to input 1 to the W2 device, and you go to the door, add door, and this is, you put the name here, the maintenance door, for the main entrance door, for example. For the configuration, you will choose the entry device as W2. The door relay is connected to the relay 0 of the W2, and the exit button is connected to the input 0, as you can see, and the door sensor is connected to the input 1. So the common mistakes. Common mistakes here is that the people in the field, they connect either wrong or different ports, and in the configuration, they choose something else. So please make sure to have, as an advice, to have a standard or unified way of installing your devices. So keep always the input 0 as a standard for the push buttons and or exit buttons, and the input 1 for the door sensors. So this will eliminate a lot of configuration mistakes. Now, the second setup of the installation is that you will have one reader in and one reader out. Again, you will have lock and you will have one door contact. You're not going to have exit button in this case because you have a slave device for out. So what you will do, you are going to connect RS485 between the two devices, and you are going to connect the relay 0 to the lock. You are going to connect the door sensor to input 1. Why input 1, not input 0? As I said, my example here, I'm unifying the input 1 to be for the door sensor or door contact. How to do the configuration? You will go to add the door, you will name the door, you will choose the entry device, which is W2. Once you choose the entry device, and if the entry device has RS485 to a slave device, then the exit device is going to show up, whether you are going to use it or not. Then you will choose the exit device. In this case, it's the R2. And the door relay, we know that the field technicians has connected this relay to the relay 0 of the W2. So you choose the W2 relay 0. There is no exit button, and the door sensor is connected to input 1. This is how to add a door, as simple as that. Very straightforward. I'm going to demonstrate it after a couple of slides. Now, let's talk about one of the critical things about access group and access level. So what is access group? Access group is a user or user groups that has the right to access one or more of access levels. So what is access group? Couple of users going to have access to an access level. So access group means user or users plus access level. If we are converting it to a formula, so access group equal to user or user group plus access level. And this is how it looks like on BioStar 2. So this is, you put the name of the access group. It is an access level plus user group or users. Okay, then what is the access level, which is part of the access group? So access level is a door or bunch of doors as a door group with a scheduled period of time. So there is a couple of doors which has schedule. So access level equal to door or door group plus schedule. So this will define the access level. And on the application, the access level, as you can see, you can put the name and it's just only door plus schedule. So door and schedule will make an access level. Access level with users will make access group. So if we go back again to the definition of access group, it is a couple of users which has access to the access level, where this access level has a doors with a specific schedule to operate. So this schedule is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. only. Before 8 a.m. it's not opening. After 5 p.m. it's not opening. Only from 8 to 5 p.m. it's gonna open for this door in this schedule for those users. This is how it works. Okay, this is a schematic of how it looks like for our schema. So let me explain it in slowly. So we have holiday group, which has many holidays. This is holiday, and there is a time period. So the time, including the holiday time period, is like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is the time period. And we have holidays, Christmas, Eid holidays, New Year, whatever holidays set up in the holiday or holiday group, plus the time. This what we call access schedule or schedule. So now this is what defines the schedule. The door group has many doors. I do believe everyone knows that the door group has many doors. So both door group and access schedule or doors and schedule is going to make for us, if you remember the formula, that door or doors plus schedule is going to give us the access level. And you can have 128 doors inside one access level. Okay. If you remember that user group has many users, and if we combine user group with access level, this will make for us the access group. So as a reverse engineer, time period with holiday will make schedule, schedule with group of doors will make access level with group of users will make access group. How many access level can be inside one access group? 128. I do believe this is clear, and during the demonstration it will be more clear. So one of the questions and common questions is how many access group and access level can you create? So there is two parts need to be considered here. You have to create those on BioStar 2. So how many access group and access level can you create on the application BioStar 2? The answer is, a lot of you will guess it correctly, is unlimited. You can create as many as you want on the application. So what is the second part? The second part is on the device memory. So synchronization with the device require that those access group and access level to be written into the device memory. And here we will have a limitation because there is a memory. So the maximum access group on a device of second generation of BioStar 2 is 2048 access group, as well as 2048 access level. And every access level, access group can have a maximum of 120 access level. And each access level can have a maximum of 128 doors. And each user can have 16 of those access group. Can you imagine how many doors can be assigned in one group for one user? In other language, or let me try to make it more simplified by repeating and recapping. Max door per one access level means that you can have 128 doors assigned to one access level. 128 access level can be assigned to one access group. 16 access group can be assigned to one user. Why do we need to store the access group and access level on the devices? Can you guess? If there is unlimited on BioStar 2, why shall we store the access group and access level and have the limitation of 2048, which is actually too much on the device?
Its answer, as you may guess, is very simple. So the device will work offline. So when the device connectivity or network got disconnected from the server, the device now is going to work on his own. He's going to need to know for his door, which is connected to him, which is the relay assigned to this device, need to know who has permission and who doesn't have permission to open the door. That's why all this access group and access level are going to be stored on the device. Now, as a presentation, how to create the access group, you will go to access control menu. You will click on access group, add access group. Of course, you can add access level first, then add access group. However, I'm going to show you here in the presentation how to create it in quickly. So after you click on add access group, you will have add new access group window. You will put the name of the access group here. Then you will click add access level. Then this will appear. You will click add access level because you don't have any access level created before. And this is what I'm saying, shortcut. You don't need to go back. Just simply you can add the access levels within the access group. This window is going to open. You will enter the access level name here and you click add and you start to add door and schedule, add more, door group and schedule. You can add up to how many? 128 lines can be added here of door and schedule. Then, of course, you click apply. So this is how to create an access level within the access group. Then the name of the access level is going to appear here. Accordingly, you choose it. Then you need to add user group or user. Choose the users or user group which has access to this access level, which has inside it the main entrance with 24/7 and click apply. This is how simple it is. We will do a live demonstration after a few slides. Before we go to the demonstration, can I ask you a simple question? Can we enable access to users without access group? Which in other, let me rephrase, or in other language, if I did not create access group and I want to give someone an access to access this door, can we do that without creating access level and access group? Yes, the answer is yes. How? There is an option called full access, which will allow the access to all users saved on the reader. To enable that, go to the device setting, authentication, and you will see here full access. So what is the concept here? The concept here that each device has the users on it. So the user, any user on the device, the door will open for him. If you want to remove the access for that user from the device, you need to delete that user from the device. This is the concept of full access. This is useful for SMB, small, medium business sectors, where they have, let's say, 10, 15, 20, and they are just controlling the door, let's say, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the employees. After that, no one else is allowed to enter. So we have a couple of precautions here, which is automatic user synchronization is very important in this case. Why? Because every user you create on the server, and if automatic user synchronization is set to on, so all users will be on all the devices. So please make sure to understand that when automatic user synchronization is set to all devices, all users will be always there. The other option, please set it to not use. So when you create a user on BioStar 2, you need to transfer that user manually to the device, and according that the user is on the device and the device is in full access mode, then the door will open for him. So last precaution with full access, please note that the door which has full access cannot be assigned to an access group. So it is either that or this. Either you will create that door in access group, or you will create that door with access level. With the full access. You cannot have full access and access group at the same time on the same door. Now, let me go for the demonstration, and after the demonstration, I'm going to talk about, we are going to check the questions. So we are going to add door and create the access group. So going back to my BioStar 2, now after we have successfully added all our devices, so I will go to the door. I have 0 door. I can add a door. I will name it the main, entrance. And in this door, I am going to use the W2 with the R2 because I need to control who got in and I need to also know who got out. So entrance is W2, exit is R2. You remember why the exit device has been appeared? Simply because this is a master and it has a slave devices. If you remember, the technician has connected the lock to the relay 0 and no exit button and the door sensor to input 1. Before adding the door sensor, let's navigate what are the current options. Here you have the relay time open. Usually it is 5 seconds. So you can set it to 5 seconds. Sorry, excuse me. Dual authentication means that you need 2 users to open this door. Anti-tailgating, which is also used for thermal camera detection. This is where the option is. So anti-tailgating to make sure that when someone enters to that area which has anti-tailgating, the second door will not open until we receive a signal that it is clear from the anti-tailgating control. The same thing we can receive from the thermal camera, which my colleague Cyril also has explained that in his webinar, that once you receive the signal, the door will not open for the thermal camera. We have also anti-pass back. I have seen that of one of the Q&A questions, that in the license, we have something called local. This local means this is not require a license. So in the zones, which we're going to explain at the end of this webinar, the anti-pass back is one of the zones, but without a license, still you can have the anti-pass back, but it is when it is used in a local mode. Local mode means that you have a master and slave devices. Then you can able to use anti-pass back. And of course, if you have anti-pass back, you can set up the alarm. When the anti-pass back violation happen, you can trigger any alarm. So this is how it looks like without adding a sensor. But if we add a door sensor, additional menu is coming, which is called alarm. Here you will have held open. You can set up an alarm for held time open. And you can set up, if the door remained open for 15 seconds, please enable the held open alarm. You have also force open. So if the door has been opened without getting any authentication, without any permission, this will be indicated as force open, and you can set up again the output for any relay to be connected to a siren, for example. And the anti-pass back, which was there alone, it has been merged with the alarm set. So this is when you add the sensor. So if we remove the sensor, the alarm has only anti-pass back. If you add the sensor, you will see that held open and the held open time and the force open alarm has been added, as well as the lock when door is closed and use automatic door. If we have time at the end of the session, we can explain every single word here. But here, this is how we create a door with reader in, reader out for main entrance, because we need to monitor in and out users. Then we click apply. Also, let's assume that we have another door, which is the store. And the store has the, for example, the face station 2. And the relay is connected to the face station 2 and the exit button to the 0 and the door sensor to 1. And we click apply. Let me add one more door, which is the IDF, for example. I'm going to put the A2. And I'm going to use the relay 0 of the A2. And if you know here that you know that the BioStation A2, we have a slave device, which is secure IO. And you can see A2 has 2 relays and the secure IO has 1 relay. Accordingly, for that relay, depending on the technician, which relay they have connected the lock, you can choose. This is one of the flexibility design of Suprema. So I'm going to use the normal one, which is relay 0 of the device and exit button input 0 of the device, or I can use the input 0 of the secure IO. As well as the door sensor, I can use also the input on BioStation E2 or the secure IO. I'm going to use the normal one. And we click apply. Let me add one more door. Let's name it the the IT or finance. So finance will have the, let's say, the face light. So the face light relay and the input and the input and apply. Of course, each door you can be assigned to door group. So let's say this is first floor, for example, and we can add another group, for example, second floor, right? So you can here drag and drop. So the store is in the first floor. The main entrance is in the GF floor. So the main entrance in the GF, the IDF in the second, and the finance is in the second. Similar thing we can do for the devices, by the way, and similar thing we can do for the users. So we have successfully created 4 doors. Now we need to talk about access group and access level. If you remember, we are going to access control. We can add access group. I will name, in order to explain this as easily, I'm going to make each access level has only 1 door, and each access group will have only 1 access level to explain the concept. So here, this is the main entrance. So I'm going to create an access level. There is no access level. I'm going to create the access level, which is the main entrance, and I'm going to add the door, which is the main entrance only. And it is going to work, the main entrance, from, let's say, 8 to 6 p.m. only. Okay, please don't forget your configuration, because you will receive some users are leaving the office or coming before 8 o'clock or leaving after 6 p.m. and they are complaining the door is not working, and again, Suprema will be playing. Please do not forget your configuration. You have configured the main entrance to open from 8 a.m., close at 6 p.m. This is how to configure it, or keep it always, it's up to you. Access level has been created. I'm going to use user groups or user. I'm going to use user. I'm going to just give it to the administrator. This is only for illustration. So I'm going to create another access group, which we call it store. Add, the store is not there. Add, I will name it store. And I'm going to add the store door. Of course, you can search it, and I'm give it 8 to 6 p.m. Apply. Again, I'm going to add only the administrator. 2 more to go for the explanation, or we can add both of them, the IDF plus the finance. Can we do that? Yes, add access level, add access level. It is the finance plus the IDF. So we need to add both doors. So second floor as group, or both of them, which will end up as second floor. And both of them can be accessed always, or whatever schedule you want. Apply, and I will add it only to the administrator for explanation in the future. You can add user group if you have access group. You can add the users directly from here. You can do all that. I'm just putting it for some explanation. So this is how we do the access group. We have created access group. Now, if we go to a user, we can go to Hatem and access group. We will see if I give him this one. So this is the main entrance. If I give him this, so he has access to the main entrance and store. If I remove that, only store. Like this, he has 3 doors. So it is all up to you. I have a lot of users. Shall I do that user by user? This will come after the next point which we are going to discuss. So if we go back to our presentation, so do you have any question which is related to adding a door or access group to be answered at the moment? We have one question. Can one master bioentry +2 connected to 8 slaves of SIO2 plus B bioentry R2 to control 8 doors? Yes, it is possible. So as there is no questions, let me move forward to our next one, which is patch edit for user device and doors. First of all, before we start patch edit, what is patch edit? Patch edit that you can change the configuration of multiple selection at once in BioStar 2. So this can be applied to users, devices, and doors. So we have a couple of precautions here. How to choose all items in the list. So if you see here in BioStar 2, assuming I have a couple of thousands, so I'm going to have a couple of pages here. So how can I choose all the 3,000 users here? How? This is the question here and the precaution which is I'm highlighting to everyone. Is it just by clicking that checkbox in BioStar 2? Like this? Do you think so? Does this going to choose the 3,000 users in the users? Unfortunately, no. This option to distinguish, it's going to choose what is here viewed. So if you have 3,000 users and you show 25 in a row, you choose this, this is going to choose the 25 here, still you have more pages. Then how shall I do that? It is, if you see there is a small magic button here near the checkbox, this one, just click it and select all. Now it's going to select all the 3,000, 10,000, 100,000, 850,000 users in one shot, not only the viewed one on the page. So this is how to select all in case if you want to have select all. Now, what is batch edit for a user? You are going to choose 1 or 2 users. So you will have and click batch edit. You will see the count of the user. You will have group. So you can change the user group. You have the status. You can change the status. You can change the period of the selected user. You can change the access group, and also you can change the operator level. These are the options which we have for edit users. For devices, we have a lot of options. DHCP enable or disable, full access, time zone, daylight saving, smart card layout, subnet mask, gateway, matching timeout, device port, connection mode, which is device to server, server address, server port. If you continue, server port, connection, RS-485, baud rate, and administrator. All this can be changed with one click for a lot of devices which you have choose, either all of them or a couple of them. What about doors? We have only the relay timeout open, which we call it open time. You can change it for all the doors you have as what you want. So in order to demonstrate that, let me go quickly and show you. So if I go to user and I choose, let's say, Hatem and Kate and Dwayne. So I'm going to do batch edit. I'm going to give them all the doors access. Yes, and you will see here that this has been changed. But Michael, Cyril, and Muhammad, batch edit, I can change the access group to main entrance only, for example. Okay, and I will assume that Dwayne and Nina, they are in the user group of, for example, R&D, London. So apply. Now, both of them is going to be in London. Kate, Michael, batch edit, they are in the user group of, let's say, R&D. And there they are there. So you can see the group of everyone. And also you can do it from inside. So Hatem is in Dubai. Why? So this is how to do single and how to do patch edit for a user. Similarly for device, of course we hide highly advised that you choose the same devices. However, multiple options can be applied to all devices, which will be applied. This is all the option. So if you want to enable, for example, DCB, you need to check this box and click this box, the pencil. And if you want to enable full access, if you want to change the time zone, which let's do the time zone together. So I'm going to change all the time zone for them to be in my time, which is +4. So all devices is going to change to be this time zone. So apply to 13, not applicable are 3 devices, which is the DM20, the secure IO, and the weekend reader, the HID reader, which I have. This is the result of the batch edit. And finally, the doors, if I choose all the doors, batch edit, then I can modify the timeout to be 5 seconds. Okay, apply, yes, then all the doors now. Be careful that when you check the box for 1, there is no batch edit. Once you start to have more than 1 selection, then batch edit is going to work. Any question? Abdul Latif. Hi, Abdul Latif, how are you? If auto sync with device is not used, then if we assign access group, will system sync users with those devices along with the access group assignment? No. User group is going with automatic user synchronization. Automatic user synchronization is under the server, where it comes in this part. If you can see here, automatic, you have the option of not use and all device. So if it is not used, no user will be transferred. You need to go manually to the user, choose whatever users you want, and you can do transfer to the devices which you want with override option. Anonymous attendee has a very good question, actually. What if I have 2 different holidays? For example, we have 2 users, Muslim and 2 users, Christian. They have different holidays and all of them have the same access level. How can I manage it? So, of course, we understand that the schedule can be created from here and you can also create here. So you are going to add the holiday of the Christians and you are going to add the holidays of the Muslims, right? And this will be when you are creating the schedule, which you want, the option of adding the holiday is here. You can add the holiday, which you created there. So after you have done this, so this schedule is going to have the holiday. Remember that this schedule, which is, for example, 8 to 6, is having this holiday. When you are in the access group, in the access level, sorry, for example, the main entrance, you are choosing 8 to 6, which has that holiday, and you come here, for example, name it Muslim, for example. Okay, which is, for example, Ramadan timing or Eid timing, for example, and you put the holiday here, and whoever in this door with this schedule is going to have that holiday. You create another one with, for example, the 8 to 17, which has, for example, that Christians holidays, which is, for example, the 25, 27, and 1st and 5 of January, whatever the dates, and whatever, for example, you can define them here, whatever the religion is, it's all up to you. You can have the same door with different schedule and another name assigned to another user. This is possible as well. So let me continue because we might run out of time. We have coming couple of things, which is private authentication for user. I see that this is very, very useful and you will like it a lot and your customer will like it. But before we start, what is private authentication? Let us understand first what is normal authentication. So normal authentication means that you are going to check and compare and match your live biometric, whether it's face or finger, with the stored biometric. All users will follow the device default authentication. Please be aware, all users is going to follow the device default authentication, which we call it now normal authentication. Each authentication has a schedule. Please do not forget the schedule. It can be used for access control or time attendance. Hopefully this answers a lot of potential questions. So as an example, Face Station 2 can have this as authentication. So it works as face only or card plus face. Face light, it's going to work face only. So if you show the card to the face light is not going to respond. Why? Because you have set up the device normal or default authentication as face only. That's why it will reject all the cards. However, if you show the card to the Face Station 2, it will ask to show your face. Why it's asking to show my face? Because you told the normal authentication of the default of the authentication of the device to be only card plus face, not only card. So when you show a card, it will ask for a face. If you delete the face, then it will work. So this is what we call normal authentication. Then what is private authentication? What do you think? From the name private, someone is going to have an authentication which is out or with the device. So the definition is the user with private authentication can have additional authentication for him or her only, including the normal authentication, which we have discussed in the previous slide, or not. Also can be forced to use only specific authentication without the normal authentication. How is that? So if you enter the user menu, for example, Hatem, and you will see there something called authentication mode, which is by default set to device default, which is the normal authentication, which is inside each device. If you change it, if you toggle it to on, it is going to change to be private mode. So now this is the private authentication. Then you can add whatever you want. So it is card only. You have noticed in the Face Station 2 and the face light in the previous slide, it was showing face only or card plus face for the Face Station 2 and face only for the face light. So now adding this will allow Hatem to use his card even on the face light, because this is private authentication. So be careful. You have given permission to this user to use the card by private authentication. Then you have one more thing, which is include device default authentication mode. It's up to you. Including it means I'm going to have the same default authentication which is inside each device, which we call it normal authentication. If we toggle it off, then I will have only to access with card. Hopefully this is understood. Now let me explain the custom field before we go for the demonstration. What is custom field? I think from the name, custom field means that we are going to custom a field for a user. So it is additional field in the user profile information, which will have additional information. So in the normal user view, you will have, as we explained in the previous demonstration of adding username, email, telephone, ID, group, blah, blah, blah. Accordingly, if I want to add more things, I need to go to setting, server, add custom field. Adding this custom field has 3 types. In order to understand those 3 types, text input box. If you choose the type of text input box, this will allow you to write alphanumeric, which is literal numbers. The second type is number input box. This is how it looks like. That number will allow, that box will allow you to enter only numbers. The final one called combo box, which we can call it a drop menu. It's a drop menu. So you can add up to 20 items. Each item has 32 characters in length, and each item must be separated with semicolon, because the semicolon means go for a new line. So you type whatever you want, semicolon, that's the new line. How many custom fields I can add? I can add 10 custom field. So after adding the custom field and apply, you can see that, for example, the birthday, it's my birthday, for example, it's just only alphanumeric. So I can write number and letters. my telephone extension number, for example, 309, I can only write number, and the gender, which I have choose male and female. When I click on it, it's a drop menu. Male, semicolon means new line, female. This is how it works for the custom field. Can you add those custom field to the user menu view column? What I mean is, if you go to the user here, can you add those custom field to be viewed here? Yes. Simply go to the three dots, column setting, and open the column setting. You'll see that the custom field has been added at the bottom of the list. Please select them, click apply, and then you will find them there. So, shall we demonstrate the private authentication and custom field? So, currently, for example, BioStation, Face Station 2, default authentication, I'm gonna delete, yes. Delete, yes. I am going to make it only card plus face always. So this is this device normal authentication. Okay, now I will go to Hatem. Hatem has a face. Now, whenever I go to the device, in order to show my face, it is going to reject me. Why it is going to reject me? Because the normal mode of the device is card plus face. Let me remind you again. Let me remind you again. So this is the Face Station 2. Card plus face. So when I go show my face, device is do nothing exactly at the moment. So I go to the user, I go to Hatem, I'm going to add private authentication mode, add. I'm going to choose the face alone, click OK. I will not allow him to use card plus face. Then I apply, OK. Now, if I go to the Face Station 2, it is working. If you can hear the sound. So this is how we set up the private authentication mode. Custom field, setting, server, custom field under the user device management, add. If you remember, we can add up to 10, maximum 10. You can reorganize them with the numbers. So I'm going to add only 3 for our demonstration. So server, add. So the first one was the birthday, and it is a text input box, which means alphanumeric. The second one was the extension, which is number only. And finally is the gender, which is combo, which means I can write semicolon, and that's it. Click apply. Now, if we go to the user, any user, for example, Kate, you start to see the birth and everything. So I'm going to go for Hatem. So birthday, as you can see, letters and numbers can be written. So we can write it. So it is November 9, 1978. My telephone extension is 311, and I am a male. Click apply, and it is synced with all devices, and it is there under my profile. Right. What if I want to show here? We click the dots, column setting, we scroll down, we will see the gender, extension, and birthday. Apply, and there they are. What if we would like to change it inside, that I want the extension to be here first and gender to be second? As we said, we go to the server, so the extension to be number 1 and the gender to be number 2. So this is how to reorder them. Apply, you go to the user, and go to Hatem, and here you are going to see that the extension become number 1, gender become number 2, and birthday become number 3. So this is how the custom field and private authentication continue to our device menu, and we'll have a small break after device menu. So you can choose or select the device by either clicking on the device or clicking anywhere here in the list of the device, but not the checkbox, because we know the checkbox is selecting it, which will view some menu. With multiple select, it will have the batch edit. So choosing anywhere here, it is going to enter the device. In my example here, I'm going to show the face station. So face station 2, almost all the devices at least have this configuration. It has the information about the device. It has the network TCP, WAN, server, serial. I'm going to explain this in live. Then it has the authentication, which we have talked about, and it has the face, and it has the card type. Under the advanced menu, you have the administrator and time and attendance. And under display and sound, under advanced still, there is display and sound and trigger and action. And we have also image log and weekend. Finally, interphone and secure tamper. So in order to demonstrate this and have additional explanation, so device, I can choose the device from here or from here, clicking anywhere here, not this, anywhere here. Then I'm inside the device menu. As you can see, the device name, you can change the device name, you can change the device group if you have device group. This information is the device ID or the serial number, the device type, the product type. This is the current firmware. You can upgrade the firmware. If the firmware is in the folder, then it will be here. It is already with the latest firmware. This is the kernel, and this is the hardware version. This is how to restore to default with or without the network. And some event, trigger, and action, you can have the option to lock it. So here where you unlock it, you can change the time zone. Of course, it's always better to sync it with the server. Daylight saving time, if your country follows the daylight saving time, you can configure it. You can add the daylight here. Of course, nothing here because you need to add it in the setting. And this is the format if you of the date and time on the system. If you did not sync it, then you can enter it manually. In the network part, of course, you can enable the DHCP or you can give the static IP with the details you want. It has also DNS. If the device supports wireless, which we have said that we have 3 devices, the face station 2, the BioStation A2, and the BioStation 2 supports wireless. So it is exactly like your mobile. So you go to your device screen, search for devices, connect to the device, put the password, voila, you are connected. Then if you want to add the device in the device to server mode, if you remember we have talked about it, you can enable it and there it is. And you can change the serial, which we usually use it here to convert it to master if you are connecting another slave device under this face station 2. In the authentication, you have authentication mode. Currently it's card. I can also add face. The face works only from 8 to 5. And I can add ID plus face, which will work from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So please do not forget your configuration. Not every time you show your face or you put your finger on the device and the device reject you, this means that it is FRR or it is your template is wrong, or you need to read the message on the device, and the message on the device will tell you what exactly it is. In order to enable the full access, you need to toggle it. It will have the warning that it will not work with the access group. Authentication timeout. This is the time of the authentication. For the face, we have some default setting. Please keep it as it is. Only the thing is the quick enrollment. You can toggle it off and on from here or from the device menu, which is 7 seconds and 21 seconds enrollment process. For the card type, the most thing I need to highlight that this model can read all this type of cards, EM 4100, MyFair Fleeka, iClass, and HID Prox, iClassic, MyFair Classic Plus, and this Fire EV1 and 2, by the way. It's iClass, SR, and SC, and CEOS, and it also supports NFC and Bluetooth. those check boxes can be unchecked because some of the user can use a cards which has multiple technology, like for example, it has MyFair and CEOS. So when you show it to the card, you show the card to the device, sometimes the device will read the MyFair, sometimes the device will read the CEOS. So here you can force the device to use only CEOS. So here you control the card reading technology, as well as you can control the BLE and NFC if it does support. Now, in the advanced menu, of course, all the devices with the screen, anyone can access the menu. In order to prevent this, you need to add administrators on the device menu by adding which user have access to all the device menu, or which user has access only to the user menu. He will not have access to the others, to the other menus, and he will have access to configuration, which means everything else except the user. So you have three options here to configure. In the time attendance, it depends on the device. If it does have buttons or not for the function keys, you can disable it, you can set by user, the user will choose, and I need to highlight here that you can type whatever languages, Arabic, English, English, Latino, English, French. You can type whatever you type here is going to be displayed on the device. And TNA required, it is forced. For your information, we are going to have a time and attendance session, I do believe on June 3. The time and the date and time is not yet fixed, but we will announce it soon about time attendance, and by schedule or by last choice or fixed. So all this option can be set also from here. Display and sound, from the name, display is the and sound. First option, you can change the language. So we have the resource file. You can change the language in the resource file for a couple of sentences of the device menu or pop-up message, and it will be changed up to your custom language which you have translated. You can control the volume, the backlight timeout, the message, the menu timeout, the message timeout. We have also voice enable, which the device will start to talk. You can also choose logo, notice, or you can do custom from the device by rearranging the sound. You can rearrange the icons on the screen. For the sound, you can change the start or verify success or verify failed with your own wave file, should not exceed 500 kilo. And you can also have trigger and action from the name trigger. When this event happen, this input trigger or a particular input, you change the name, the output will be action, will be this output will be trigger. So this is trigger and action, can be also done from the device menu. Devices, we have two devices with cameras, where if the device has camera, you will see the image log. Image log means that the device can take snapshot, like the camera. So if you enable it, whether any of those events you have set it up within this schedule, if this event happened within this schedule, the camera of the device is going to take a snapshot. That's the image log. You can configure the device also to receive the weekend in or out, and we have a couple of devices, the same port of weekend can work as in and out as well. So it depends on pulse width, and for example, usually it is used as output to be connected to a third-party access control manufacturer where they do not manufacture biometric. You need to match their pulse width and interval. We have an article about that. You need to choose the format, the weekend format, which the controller will understand. Accordingly, you want to send the card ID or the user ID and configure it. Now, if the device support the interphone, we have the Face Station 2, we have the BioStation A2, and then we have the BioStation 2. Three of them support the interphone. So if you enable it, you need to have a SIP server. SIP server, sometimes they call it call manager or SIP server. Examples, Raspberry, they have Asterisk. Genetic, they have Sipelia. Who else? Cisco, they have call manager. Avaya, all this kind of IP telephony, or they call it call manager servers. They support SIP protocol, and if they do support SIP protocol, it is going to work as a normal phone, which you can call it or receive a call from it with or without the video. Finally, is the secure tamper. When you enable the secure tamper, if the device got removed from the wall, then the timer behind each device is going to trigger that the device has been removed and is going to delete all the data, all the users, logs and encryption keys are going to be removed from the device. This is if you want. By default, it is off. But if you want it for some secured area or location, you can enable it here. This is a quick navigation about the menu of almost all the device. If you go, for example, for a device like W2, which doesn't have screen, you will not see a couple of the options. So this is the same exactly. This is the same, but here you will not see WAN, and because it doesn't have wireless, but the balance is there. Same authentication, same but for fingerprint, same for the car type, and in advance, you will see the time attendance. Here it has LED and trigger an action medium. You will not see the, for example, the image log, right? You will not see display and sound because it doesn't have screen. So what we have discussed in the Face Station 2 menu, it is common for all the devices if it has the options. So we did not skip any point. I'm gonna skip this Q&A session because I would like to go for our final and webinar point today, which is understanding the Zoom configuration in our next 15 minutes. I promise you that after we explain this, we'll have the demonstration, and we are going to be there, or myself, I'm going to be there. I'm not going to end over the webinar until everyone's question has been answered. So no need to panic by push your question at the moment. You can keep it, and we will have it answered later. But let's try to stick to our schedule to finish by 2:15 for whoever has another schedule after 2:15, 2:30, sorry. So zones. I have a question for all of you. Do we require a license to use zones? Do you remember the license slide where the zone was there? Do you think it is available with the starter? The free version? The answer is no. So do we require a license to use the zone? Yes. The starter, the free version, does not have any zone. You need to activate a license. Then which license do you remember, or do you think we should activate? I do believe you got it correct, which is standard. Zones start from standard. What kind of zones do we have in BioStar 2? There is anti-pass back, fire alarm, schedule lock, schedule unlock, intrusion alarm, interlock, and master zone. Very good. Let's go first one. So, anti-pass back. What is the meaning of anti-pass back? Let's read it together. Sorry. Anti-pass back can help prevent the user from using an access card to enter and then pass the same card to another person. I do believe this is straightforward, clear. So I'm entering to the office with Dwayne. Then Dwayne forgot his card. So I used my card, the door opened, then I gave my card to Dwayne. For example, he's going to come later after 5 minutes or 10 minutes to get something from the car. Then he cannot enter. Or it can also prevent unauthorized person who have entered by following a user with access privilege from getting out on their own. So the second option is Dwayne is going to enter with Hatem from the office, but he didn't punch his card or finger or face. Then the exit reader is going to prevent Dwayne from exiting because he has violation because he didn't show what time exactly he came. So this feature is available when both entry device and exit device are installed. Please be aware here. Anti-pass back is dealing with device in, device out. Whether those device in and device out on the same door or they are on different doors. I have seen a lot of confusion here that they are thinking that anti-pass back works only with doors. No, it is with readers. If you choose the in reader and the exit reader of that door, now you can consider it as a door, but it is working in devices and exit devices. You choose a couple of in, one or multiple in devices, similarly for whether it is on the same door or not. So when we go for the live demonstration, I'm going to go through each point here, and I have added also the configuration steps link. So once you click on it, it will launch the configuration. Of course, all those links are available online for anyone who wants to access from now. So fire alarm zone, I do believe everyone knows it. However, let's confirm your knowledge as well as my knowledge that the zone, it's a zone to open all the doors and or elevators configured within this zone in the event of fire alarm triggered received from the fire alarm panel. So we need to configure doors, not readers. See the differences between the previous one and this one? Between the anti-bus pack, which is deal with entry and exit devices, and here one, it is dealing with doors. So you need to list down the doors and the elevator, which going to open when we receive the input from the fire alarm, which we have configured here. Regarding the elevator, if you go back to Cyril, my colleague Cyril, who had a webinar about the elevator, he has explained the elevator in all details. And the next zone is schedule lock. From the name that you are going to lock a door configured in this zone according to schedule. So we are going to lock the door of the store for a particular time from 8 to 5. What if I have permission? Still the door will lock. Still the door will lock. And we have alarm, and this alarm, when you set it up, once this door lock zone schedule started, you can configure an output to a red light, for example, to be lighted up. So when this door is started, the schedule lock, then the lamp will be on. Schedule unlock is exactly the opposite of schedule lock. So from this door, will have the store door is going to open from 8 to 5 p.m. So from 8 to 17 hours, it's going to be open. And we have a couple of options we are going to discover in the live demonstration. Intrusion alarm zone. This also caused a lot of confusion for many people. So intrusion alarm zone here is a zone to set a warning sound or relay signal if unauthorized person attempt an intrusion after alarm. Same concept of intrusion alarm. Intrusion alarm, you are having a panel which has a keypad. That keypad, if after everyone is leaving, you are going to arm. After arming, there is a lot of motion sensors, whatever it's a motion sensor, presence sensor, glass sensor, door contact, whatever the sensor is. If any of those sensors detect a motion or break glass, for example, then a siren is going to be alerted. This is what we know in the jewelry shops, in the banks, in the exchanges. The same concept here, but it is with devices for doors. So we are going to set a couple of doors into this intrusion alarm zone. So same what you are putting sensors in the intrusion alarm, we are going to put doors into our BioStar 2 intrusion alarm zone. Once you set arm, either by show a card or biometric or even key for that, then those doors are armed. Anyone will try to access this door, the siren is going to be activated as per our configuration. So it is exactly the same concept of the normal intrusion alarm system, which has a panel with the keypad as well as sensor. We have here BioStar 2 doors and the alarm. It is exactly the same concept. So I will show everything in the live demonstration. We have also something called interlock zone, and before I start explaining, it works only with core station, unfortunately. So I hope that our R&D will work on other devices to have this feature on other devices, but currently please note that it is only with core station. So what is interlock zone? It is a zone between 2, 3, or even 4 doors. So maximum 4 doors can be assigned into this zone. In this zone, if one of those doors are open or unlocked, all the other doors cannot be open. It is locked until that door is open. Which door? The first, second, or third? This is any of the doors inside this configuration, the 4 doors, any one of them open, the other 3 doors will be locked down. And we have something called option, which is you might not see a lot in BioStar 2. So this option will allow you to have an input signal, for example, from a motion sensor. So if you have a motion sensor in that interlock, one of those interlock area, if you activated that, if we receive the signal from this motion sensor, the door will remain locked until the room is empty. This is what is here. And finally, in our last zone, which is master zone. Master zone is a zone is used to place where user gather when an emergency occurs. Where we call it, the assembly point in case of fire alarm, for example. So that's an emergency. So in case of emergency, you can set up a master zone. The purpose of it is to monitor how many users are inside that zone, inside that specific area, or for notifying a manager that alert when user stays in specific area for a specific time. So we use master zone for two things, like a counter in case of emergency. We need to know how many people are still inside. And also we need to know if someone stayed inside that zone for more than a certain period of time. So we will go for the live demonstration for each one of those zone, but please allow me, before we do the demonstration and we start the Q&A, if you don't mind, I would like to launch this webinar, your review about this webinar. It is just 2 polls. The first poll consists of 2 questions, which you should see in front of you. It is anonymous. It is evaluation for our webinar today. Please feel free to put your honest feeling or what do you think about this webinar. I appreciate if all of you participate in it. While you are doing this participation, there is Guy Muaz. Can I use zones to allow maximum X people inside a zone? Unfortunately, we don't have that yet. What we have now, it is a counter to show who is inside. But if it reaches to that number, then the door will lock, will not allow more user. You can go with a customization project. Please consult with your sales representative and he will advise you about the customization project. Please, all of you, please do the poll. I really appreciate if you participate. I will give another 30 seconds. Mr. Eric, yes, we are going to send the presentation and the Q&A to all users by email. Also, it will be available on our Suprema INC support.supremainc.com, our technical support portal, as well as it's going to be published on the YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your vote. If you allow me, I am going to launch the second and last poll for today's webinar. Appreciate if all of you please participate. It's anonymous. No one will know who has choose what. Please feel free to choose what you think about this webinar. I will have one question answered until you finish the poll. Shreyans is asking about if anti-passback versus anti-tailgating. So anti-passback is mainly that it will define for you that in order to go through the exit reader, you must pass by the entry reader. So this will prevent that I can give my car to someone to come later, or it will prevent that someone will enter with me and then he will go to the exit door without passing from the entry device door. This is the anti-passback. Anti-tailgating, it is usually worked with interlock, or if you want to work it without interlock, you should have a controller which is using anti-tailgating. This controller will give you the signal that more than one person are inside this room. Accordingly, if the controller senses that more than one person are inside this room, the next door will not open until it makes sure that only one person is there. And this job is done by an anti-tailgating controller, which we will connect their output to our anti-tailgating input. Then the door will be locked until the sensor, anti-tailgating sensor, tell us there is only one person is there. So thank you very much for your feedback. Let's go and continue for our demonstration, which is for the zones. So in zones, we have the anti-bus pack, add zone. You choose the zone, which is anti-bus pack. You will name the zone, and then you will have mode of local or global. Local will allow you only to have the devices which has RS-485 slave devices. This is the main of local. So if I choose W2, and then I will see only the doors under it. If I choose the core station, then I will see only the devices under it. This is what is the difference between global and local. Global is all the devices, TCP/IP and the slaves. Local is only one master, TCP/IP, and all the slaves under it. This is the difference between local and global. So this is active and inactive. Anti-bus pack type, there is soft anti-bus pack. Soft anti-bus pack means that it will record the anti-bus pack, but will allow to open the door. Hard anti-bus pack, it will record the anti-bus pack and will not allow the door to open. This is the difference between hard and soft. Reset time, which means if I have a violation of anti-bus pack, after 1,440 minutes, the anti-bus pack violation is going to be reset. But of course, it is logged. And those are the entry devices. Those are the exit devices. We agree that this is devices. Now, what happened in the global? It is the server is the one who's responsible for this anti-bus pack. So what happened if the network failure? So just open the door, but record the anti-bus pack. Do not open the door and record the anti-bus pack and wait for the network to be back. Those are the three options. Alarm, you can set an alarm. Output, the output, for example, will be on the secure IO relay 0, which is free, and I will connect the signal to that one with a siren or something to indicate that someone has violation on anti-bus pack. And I can have also anti-bus pack bypass group. Bypass group is that whoever inside this IDF or finance, do not include them into this anti-bus pack. So this is how we configure anti-bus pack zone. Fire alarm zone, one of the good or most used zones, you give it a name. Same concept, it has local and global. So in local, you will add only the doors which is connected on RS-485. Global, you can add doors which you want. So we added all the doors. We can add elevators. Of course, I did not add any elevator here today. And now, which input I should receive from the fire alarm trigger? So I will assume I will go for secure IO port 1. So I have defined that I'm going to pull the wire from the fire alarm panel alarm relay connected to secure IO, this serial number device, input 1. It is normally closed and duration is 100 milliseconds. Duration means that the input should be continuously remain triggered for 100 milliseconds. I have seen some of installation, they are putting, let's say, 60,000 milliseconds. Why? Because they want some time, do not unlock the doors until we make sure that it is a real fire alarm. So this is how long the signal of the fire alarm panel has been triggered inside this input. For how long? It has to remain for 3 seconds. So this trigger must be received for 3 seconds from the fire alarm to activate this zone. If it is 2 seconds, then I will not open because the signal has been done. This is the duration meaning. Alarm, as we understood, we can choose any output in the solution. For example, you can see here all the relays and outputs inside all the devices connected with the signal, like for example, flasher or siren. So this is how to configure the fire alarm zone. schedule lock, you will choose the door with the schedule you want, and you can have bypass people because it's lock, and you can allow exit if you have push to exit or reader inside to go out. So if you are inside, you are allowed to go out, but if you are coming inside, you are not allowed. And like this, you are not allowed at all. This is for the lock zone. For the unlock zone, it is almost similar. So you will choose the door, the schedule, let's say 8 to 5, you will choose the door. So the store is working from 8 to 5, and it can be started by the first authorized guy. So here, from this time to this time, the store is going to be unlocked. The door will open. But let's assume that the storekeeper must arrive first. We cannot open the door without the storekeeper there. Then we should enable this one, and we should add whoever user inside the access group of store. Once he opened the door after 8, okay, then the door will be unlocked. If he didn't, anyone in this access group did not arrive to that door after 8, the door will remain locked even after 8, despite the fact it is unlocked. So this is how it is. Intrusion alarm. Sorry. So an intrusion alarm, you put the name of the zone. Then you enable, it is working only on local mode. Then you choose the door. I will assume it is the finance. And then delay time. If you arm, how many seconds should be delayed, as well as disarm. Whoever have experience in intrusion alarm, he will understand this. Now, arm disarm card, you can set up a card here to arm and disarm. Arm disarm group, who is authorized to arm and disarm? So if I choose IDF and finance, so the people are inside this access group will be the only one allowed to arm and disarm. Then we have something here called arm disarm setting, which is device. We need to choose the device which is going to do the arm and disarm. Here you choose a device which you can do the arm and disarm. Then the input. Here you can choose some of the input, which is, for example, from intrusion or something, which once received, let's assume the device is this one, okay, and port is 1, for example. It will be used for arm and disarm. Duration is 100 lie. So you can see here that this input which we received will be used arm disarm. You can set it only for arm, for example, and it has to be in this duration with this normally open. Then it will be armed or disarmed as video configuration. Intrusion setting detection. So once the detection is received from sorry, give me 1 minute, please. I'm sorry, guys. You know that I'm fasting. I'm here in Dubai, so I'm fasting. So I got just, my throat got dry. So, you know, fasting, I'm from 4 a.m. until 7 p.m. I'm not allowed to eat or drink. So the alarm, let's continue. If you go to alarm, so you can set up the event, which is, for example, access denied, arming or armed or unfair, or disarming, whatever this event with the output you want, and it will be connected to us. Let's move to the next zone, interlock. As we have agreed, the interlock zone will work only with core station. So we did not create any door in core station. That's why it is not there. And don't forget that the door sensor must be used. So if I'm going to create quickly add door, I will name it CS1, core station 1. I will go to the core station. Where is it? So it's R2. And the relay is 0 of the core station, input 0, input 1. So this is the first door. And I'm going to create the second door, which is CS2. This is the second door. I'm going to use the core station HID reader and the relay 1. And input 2 and input 3, apply, and add the third door, CS core station door number 3, and I'm going to use the door which is XPath D2. I'm going to use relay 3 and 4 and 5. Of course, as you can see, you can choose any you want. Now I'll go to the zone, interlock, add zone, interlock, and now you can see the zone, the doors under the core station. We can choose, if you remember, up to 4 doors. So you'll give it a name. It is active, door sensor is there. Option, so this option, you will choose the device with the input, and once you have that intrusion, for example, then if someone is there, the door will not be open for the next one unless that is open, and you can set up also alarm. And finally, master zone, you can choose, you give it a name, you can choose what are the readers for enter, what are the readers for out, calculate what is the max time allowed within this zone, and you can trigger an alarm. So this will be used to have a counter for the users inside this zone, which defined by all this entry and exit readers, or you can have only one reader in, one reader out as a zone, and accordingly it will have count as well as the time. So thank you very much for attending today's webinar. And please, if you have any question, you can ask now. Webinar time is finished. Any related to this webinar or somehow related to this webinar, myself and my colleague are ready to answer you. So Mr. Chima Miguel, he has a question about the turnstile. Have you thought of any special device to incorporate in tripod turnstile gate? Is there already something to couple current devices? All our devices can work with any turnstile, either full height or tripod or man trap, flap gates, swing gates. All our readers can work with those kind of devices. Emmanuel, he's asking, is it important to create user department when configuring access level? Of course not. First of all, let me correct your information. Access level is door and schedule, does not have any relation to the user. So your question, high probability, is related to access group. So access group has both option, which is user or user group. So you can add whatever you want in the access group. If you can see my monitor, so in the access group list, the main entrance, you can add user group or you can add users. It's up to you. So it is not mandatory. Mr. Qasim has a question about the license. So if you allow me, sorry, to go back to the license part, review it all together. BioStar 2, first of all, we have 4 types of license: access control, time attendance, video, and visitor. We are talking today about access control only. So we have, once you download BioStar 2, you will have the starter version, which is free of charge. Then you have 5 licenses, which each one has its own feature and you have to pay. So basic, standard, advanced, professional, and enterprise. From the free version, you have 5 doors. If you have more than 5 doors, then you need to buy the basic, which will support up to 20, standard 50, advanced 100, professional 300, and finally enterprise. Actually, it's written 1,000, but it can go more than 1,000. So this is regarding the door numbers. Rest, they are all the same. Then if you come to the elevator control, you will require advanced. If you come to the zone, you will require standard. If you come to the graphic map, it will be advanced, and server and Active Directory will require advanced, and visitor cloud and local API will require standard. This is how, but please be careful when you are ordering the BioStar 2 access control license. Please make sure that you mention BioStar 2 access control license, because standard, advanced, and professional are also in the BioStar time attendance license. Emmanuel is continuing answering a question, asking a question: what if the computer or BioStar server PC corrupted? So it is as simple as, if you have a backup of the license file which has been created in your installation folder. For example, if I show you here, this is my installation folder. So BioStar 2 is here. So you will see here LIC. If you have the backup of these files, then after your PC, which is corrupted, after you reinstall everything again, please replace those files again in the LIC folder, restart the services, the license will be back. If you don't have them, please send an email with your key, the 16-digit key license, to your sales representative, and he will reset the license for you, which will require an interference by the sales to reset the license. Accordingly, you can reuse it again if you don't have these two license files.
Thank you, guys. So I'm gonna end up the webinar. I just want to make sure that no one has question. If anyone has question, raise your hand. If you are typing your question, please raise your hand so I will not end it up. Thank you all for attending today. We will announce our time attendance for webinar soon. Thank you all. Thank you, my colleague Cyril, Dwayne, Kate, and Lani for supporting me today in the Q&A. And see you soon in our next webinar. Thank you and bye-bye. Have a great, safe day in life.